Hello everybody, and today it's time for another episode of Ace with Reads. And this time we're going to be reading a book called Shaun Sheep, Still Alive for Washday. Enjoy. Still Life. It was a beautiful morning on the farm. The sheep were laughing in the sunshine. Bitter was tugging to the beats on its professional stereo. All went well in the world. And the sound of a jolly whistling caught Bitzer's attention, and he gave a startled bark. The sheep began to graze in a more sheep-like manner as the farmer strode into the field. Carrying a paint box and a strange wooden stand, he peered around, then looked happily at the farmhouse. He found the perfect scene to paint. Wow! The farmer, the farmer propped the stand out of the stand and plonked with a line caverns on it. The wooden stand began to bend backwards with a creak. Stupid easel! The farmer huffed in annoyance, and he propped it up again with a reach for its paint. Slump! The cabin slid down to the needle. Oh! The farmer grumbled, notching it back up. The cabin slid down again, and then again and again, and finally with a loud smack on the ground. Ah! The farmer grunted and lapped on the easel. Leaped on the easel. He hammered and slumped, twisted and tweaked, and stood on the easel again, fixed at last. Now he can get on with his painting. The farmer told Bitzer where he wanted each sheep to appear in his painting, waving and pointing madly at the flock. Bitzer obeyed with a grumpy sigh, shoving the sheep back and forth. Finally, the farmer seemed pleased with his new scene and gave Bitzer a thumbs up. Bitzer crept up to wait to listen to his music again, keeping a lazy eye on the flock. But Shaun and his fleecy friends soon got bored with posting for the farmer's painting. Shirley stuck out her tongue with a loud lurr. Then Shaun blew an enormous rattling making all the sheep laughing bah, bah. Bitzer was not impressed. Ruff! I got my eye on you, he warned with a growl. The sheep hung their heads on with a slunk. The farmer squirted his tube of white paint to add to a few clouds, but he had used it all to painting no sheep. The tube was empty. With a grumble, the farmer threw off his beret and wandered back into the farmhouse to fetch some more. Bitzer took the chance to sneak a peek at the farmer's work of art. Ah, he said, mildly at first, when he realized there's something wrong with this painting. Bitzer wasn't in it. So Bitzer put up a paintbrush and he began to add his self-portrait. He took a complete his woolly hat at the bottom of the scene. Ah, tut. In it, to his horror, the paint began to run down the caverns. Bitzer panicked. He rubbed and dumped and scrubbed the dribbling paint, making an ugly brown smudge. Bitzer turned to see the flock tutting at him. He'd ruined the picture. Eagerly, Shaun came forward to save the painting, plonking the farmer's beret on his woolly head. The little sheep carefully dabbed the covers with the paintbrush, squinting it thoughtfully, bits of whimpers covering his eyes. I can't watch. Ta-da! Shaun stepped aside to show her of his masterpiece, of a marvellous, peaceful country scene. There, he bleated proudly, the sheep modelled in admiration, but each of them agreed that the country scene was missing something. Sheep. Ta-da! Timmy's mum bustled forwards. Timmy wanted to turn. She lifted the excited little sheep up, dipped him in the paint, and smooshed his tiny face into the cabins of shades of yellow, green, and red. Suddenly, the whole flock swayed towards the cabins, a big, woolly hurdle at the artwork. Smoosh, sploosh. The sheep splodged and splattered and smudged and splooshed. Then they stepped back to admire the creation, a portrait of a smiling EWE they called the Moon of Fleece A. Shaun clapped its hooves together happily, and his fleece friends pranked up with their papers again. This painting log was fun. But the sheep weren't stopping there. As each sheep added to the picture, the paint flew everywhere, splatting the flock with a mute rainbow of patches, red, orange, yellow, and blue. Splat, splat, splat. But all the excitement, the sheep smacked into the cabin, smashing over the easel with a loud crack. The clumsy sheep landed on the multicolored heap. Suddenly, Bitzer and Shaun heard a whim, whim, whim. The farmer was coming out of the farmhouse, whistling and carrying a big pot of white paint, almost enough to paint a life-size and portrait of Shirley. Quack! Quick! The sheepdog heard into the paint flecked out flock out of the farmer's sight. The farmer took one look at his painting and the easel lay sadly on the lawn and wailed, "Oh!" It didn't take the farmer's mum long to work out who was to blame. The blobs of paint on each woolly coat and gave the sheep the culprits. Stop. The farmer took in front of the sheepish sheep, including the shame-faced Shaun and a red-faced Timmy, and stomped with a foot of fury. "Look what you've been done," he growled, rather like Bitzer. Bah, bah. The sheep bahed an embarrassment and huddled together. As the farmer stood the easel back up and took a good look, then he wept. The paint looked more like a wacky modern artist than his own lucky landscape. It was colourful. Was it art? The farmer didn't think so. Grum-ba-boom, grum-ba-boom. The farmer couldn't hear loud rock music for what wasn't coming from Bitzer's personal stereo. A long wide looming sign pulled up into the field, and the window opened, revealing the passenger, a famous rock star and well-known art collector. The rock star pointed to the sheep's splattered masterpiece. It would look right at home in one of its mansions. Huh? The farmer pointed at what he thought was a masterpiece. A pile of banknotes appeared in the rockstar's hand. Ka-ching! The farmer and the sheep, for that matter, had never seen so many money. Sold! The farmer handed over the painting up to the rock star. The rock star was overjoyed. The limhouse drove away, wheels squealing in the mud, leaving the farmer with his mouth wide open and a pile of banknotes in his hand. Slowly but certainly, the other sheep peered out from behind Shirley to find out what had happened. The farmer started at the money and back at the flock with a state of shock, but the shock soon wore off. Soon he was happy. In fact, he was over the moon. Wow! The farmer picked up the little Timmy, and with his bright red painted face, and gave the tiny sheep a great big kiss. Mwah! He leapt and frolicked, skipped, and cartwheeled across the lawn, dreaming of the shiny new Land Rover and designer label and wheels, woohoo! Shaun and Bitzer, who had never seen the farmer this happy, and silly, looked at each other and shrugged. But soon the whole flock were joining in the farm. Bah!